As a social movement supporting mothers, we were being inundated by very real, desperate requests.
The issues that pregnant women are facing in South Africa now are not new. COVID has simply exacerbated a very dire situation.
There's a lack of kindness in the way we think about especially poor working class pregnant women. And then there's also a gap in our understanding of children's development as beginning way before the child is even here. In October of 2020, Germany donated 100 million rand in COVID-19 relief funding to the city of Cape Town to address food security issues in poor communities. Violence prevention through urban upgrading, a well-established NGO partner, would implement and allocate the funding.
For us, it was very important that it does not just become a relief project. We said it up front and people came and just offered us relief and we rejected that. We said it needs to look towards a rebuilding of a community rather just then dropping some relief. The dropping of the relief is the food parcel story.
The relief project was multi-pronged, but one of the critical components were rapidly deployable digital food vouchers for selected vulnerable groups in Cape Town. These could be redeemed in spaza shops and house shops to inject cash directly into the local economy.
In the conversation with the local community and with Grow Great and Embrace, where we looked at pregnant women, we realized it's a forgotten group in a pandemic.
VPUU doesn't specifically work with pregnant women, so Embrace and Grow Great, with their national network of mothers and infrastructure already in place, were brought in as partners to assist with implementation.
Unfortunately, for many women in South Africa, accessing just the basic nutritional requirements to ensure a healthy pregnancy is a great challenge. A third of pregnant women live in households that run out of money for food, and as many as 60% of mothers of young children live below the upper bound poverty line. And 1 in 4 children under 5 suffer from stunting. And stunting has long-term consequences for children's health, education, and economic prospects.
Currently, there is a child support grant, but pregnant women are excluded even though a child's growth and brain development in the womb relies mostly on adequate nutrition. If we are to give children the right start in life, we should be lobbying to extend the child support grant into pregnancy. Could the pandemic, for all of its destruction, be offering up an opportunity to test run the idea of a grant for pregnant women?
One of the things that we loved about a digital voucher is that it gives women agency to make decisions based on what they need for their families.
And it's also a way of looking at how you can encourage people to use the grant money within their own communities. That circular economy starts to really become robust. Registration, verification, and delivery of the vouchers to pregnant women was going to be a mammoth task. It made sense to reach pregnant women through clinics. Normally getting access takes time, but because the situation was urgent, the Department of Health and the City of Cape Town got behind the project, giving Embrace and Grow Great the access they needed quickly. VPUU, Embrace and Grow Great leveraged their networks and set up 14 clinics and 7 community halls for registration. An all-women team of field workers who could relate to the pregnant women were recruited from the communities, and Embrace briefly put them through some training. Registration soon began in earnest.
Shoo, I just thought what a massive, daunting task. But I think Julie did a great job in saying, like, look, we are going to be flying this ship as we build it.
So what we learned as an organization is that we can mobilize on a very, very short period of time, and we can galvanize ourselves behind an idea.
For all of the people who needed to come to the party to give access and authorization, the provincial government, the district administrators, the hospitals, it would have taken at least 6 months. Everyone was registered within 6 weeks and they started receiving their vouchers.
We were really able to pull together as a team, sitting at different levels, not being able to meet face to face, making it happen.
It was money being thrown directly at the problem. Where in some of these environments where I find myself working, there's just too much. Everything is just needs to be perfect on paper first and needs a policy before being implemented.
How do you break down complexity? It's really to have a starting point and then to connect the dots. Part of connecting the dots is connecting with other organizations in the space, with networks that have got a broader coverage. If we then join forces, I think our outcomes will be so much better.
The government need to call a meeting for people to come to the meeting so that they can access them. Whereas we can just walk down the street and go to the people, to your neighbor, and go speak to your neighbor. They were surprised, they were excited, and they were telling their neighbors if they knew of someone that was pregnant, everyone was informed. Everyone was informed, and that was a good thing because now they are being taken care of.
In the end, 2,777 pregnant women received 6 sets of 300 Rand vouchers over 4 months.
We only had so much funding, we only had so much capacity, and we only had so much time that we need a sustainable solution. A project like this will only ever be a stopgap.
The government needs to give serious consideration to a maternal support grant. The literature shows clear links between pregnancy income support and improved maternal and child health outcomes. Considering that for the most part stunting is preventable, it's short-sighted to shortchange the next generation of South Africans in this manner.
Let's come together as civil society, as government, as policymakers, as decision makers, as thought leaders to take what we've learned and use it to build systems that will continue to support pregnant women for years and years and years to come.